Good evening. Welcome to night 6 of Sun and Moon. This evening, I'm offering you a short and sweet, gentle Hatha yoga practice. I'm calling it Moon Movement. Some of the poses that we'll be doing have the same energetic and bodily effect of the poses that are in the Moon Salutation, but like we talked about on day 1, Moon Salutations can be activating in their own way and strengthening, and this practice is going to be more so grounding. We're actually going to stay quite close to the ground, and we will get started in a comfortable seat, Sukhasana. I am sitting up on a little folded blanket, and I have a couple of blocks, so if you have something to sit up on or you have something to raise the earth up to you, I would advise you to bring those props near your mat. So let's just begin with a little bit of grounding, taking time to arrive at the beginning of your practice. Sit up tall, soften or close your eyes. Start to notice your breath. Notice how you're feeling at this point in your day. If there's anything that you're still holding on to from your day, I invite you to begin to let that go. And if you're not quite ready to let it go right now, I invite you to let it be, just as it is. At this point in your day, everything that has been done cannot be undone. And so I invite you to come to a place of acceptance and peace with all that has happened, acceptance and peace with how you're feeling about what has happened, and to let this next breath in be the beginning of a fresh start, the beginning of restful, nourishing practice. With your intention in mind, bring your palms together in front of your heart space. And we'll open this evening's practice by taking a breath in through the nose and letting it out with a gentle sigh. And symbolically releasing any tension from the day. And then we'll start to move the body to release any tension stored in the body. On your next breath in, reach your arms out to the sides and straight up, upward salute. Maybe you look towards your thumbs. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the floor next to you and lean over towards the right. Side bend. Inhale, reach your arms up into the air, upward salute. Exhale, left hand to the ground, lean over towards the left. Inhale, upward salute once again. Exhale, take a twist, left hand to your right thigh, right hand behind you. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, right hand to your left thigh, left hand behind you. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause, notice how you feel. Start to observe any noticeable shifts in your body, in your mind, your energy. From here, release your hands. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart, Baddha Konasana, or bound angle. You're welcome to use blocks underneath the thighs here if that feels better in your hips. Bring your hands onto your shins, your ankles, maybe somewhere on your feet. Inhale and lengthen up through the heart space, lengthen out through the crown of the head. Exhale, bend the elbows out to the side, lean forward with as much of a flat back as you can, and then whenever you feel like you're meeting some resistance, go ahead and let the spine start to round a little bit, release the weight of your head. And let's take a few breaths here. If you are using blocks today and you're not already using them underneath your thighs, you can bring them underneath your hands or your forearms to bring the earth a little bit closer to you. Maybe if it's available in your body, the elbows come down to the ground. Two more breath cycles, in and out. Inhale, lift your head, press into your hands, start to walk them back towards you. Come back to upright. From here, I'm going to turn to face the top of my mat. You can do that as well if you're like me, facing the long edge of your mat. And I'm still going to stay up on a blanket, but we're coming into Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose. Extend your left leg long, and then bring the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Flex back through the left toes, activate the left quad. You don't have to have the leg completely straight. You can put a little bend in the knee here. Also, take a look down at your hips and notice if your right hip has started to open out towards the right. Try to square both of your hips to the front of the mat here. And then we'll inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, lean forward just like before in Baddha Konasana, starting out with kind of a flat back. And then once you feel resistance, let your hands frame your leg either on the mat or on blocks, and then start to round your spine. Release the weight of your head. Several breath cycles here. Feel gravity be a little bit heavier with every exhale. One more breath in. And exhale, press into your hands. Walk your hands back towards you to upright. And let's do that on the other side. So start by extending your right leg long. Draw your left foot in towards your right inner thigh. Again, flex the toes back so the right quad is active, the toes are active. Also, make sure your hips are squared to the top of your mat. And then allow for as much of a bend of the knee as you need to feel comfortable here. Inhale, reach your arms up, upward salute. Exhale, lean forward, starting with that straight spine, and then once you meet resistance, hands frame the leg on the floor or blocks, and then release the weight of your head. Maybe the spine rounds a little bit. Starting to let go of your day a little bit more now. Feeling all of the ways that your body stores information in the form of tensing up, trying to soften that tension and open up the body. One more breath in. Exhale, press into your hands and start to walk them back so you come back to upright. And then from here, make your way around to tabletop pose. You can just lean over to one hip. Come on to hands and knees. Feel free to pad your knees with a blanket here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep using the blanket where it is. And then today we're going to practice cat and cow, but a little different. Step the right foot out to the right. And the sole of the foot will be onto the floor next to you. Straighten out that leg as much as you can. You might allow for a little bend of the knee. Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, pull the heart forward and look forward, cow pose. Exhale, tilt the tailbone down, round out your spine, chin towards your chest, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, and cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Final round, inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Inhale back to a neutral spine. And then we'll go into thread the needle from here. If having your leg extended feels like too much for you right now, you can always bring the right knee back down into table and then take thread the needle. But for a thread the needle pose, you're going to thread the left arm underneath your body until the left shoulder and left side of your head rest down onto the mat. You can raise the earth up closer to you by bringing those blocks or a pillow underneath your left shoulder. And then you can keep your right hand next to your face and use this as a lever to press your hand down and create more of a twist. Or you can reach your right hand towards the top of your mat. A few breaths here. Start to soften through the right side of the shoulder and the neck. It's a big pose, getting into a little bit of the inner thigh, getting a twist through the spine, and also stretching out the shoulder. And just bring that loving awareness to all of the parts of you that you feel opening. Hi, Turkey. Thank you for joining us. Alrighty, let's take another breath in to slide the right hand back next to the face, and then press into the right hand, come back up to table, bring that right knee in if it's not there already. And we're going to do that all on the other side. I'm going to turn around so that I can stay facing you and you can see what I'm doing. Alrighty, other side, left foot steps out to the left. Again, the sole of the foot is on the floor as much as it can be, and the leg is as straight as it can be. Maybe allow for a little bend of the knee. Inhale, cow, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, pull your heart forward, lift the crown of your head, exhale, round your spine, tailbone drops down, crown of the head points down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Last one. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. Inhale back to a neutral spine. Thread the needle, right arm underneath you, right shoulder to blocks, a pillow, or to the floor, right side of your head to the floor. Reach your left hand up towards the top of your mat, or keep the hand next to your face. Breathe here. Soften into the right side shoulder and neck. Take another breath in. Exhale, slide the left hand back. Press down into your left hand. Come back up to table. Slide the left knee back in. And I'll turn myself back around to facing the top of my mat so I can meet you there. And we're going to take a brief downward facing dog. If you're feeling really tired this evening and downward dog doesn't sound like it is going to be supportive for you, I invite you to take child's pose. Otherwise, tuck your toes under, walk your hands in front of where you had your hands placed previously, just about one handprint, and then lift your hips up high and back, downward dog. And today, you can widen your feet to the width of your mat, a wide downward facing dog. Sometimes this just gives a little bit more space in the hamstrings and the hips. Alternate the bend of your knees. Sometimes in inversions where the head is below the heart and the heart is below the hips, I really like to imagine any tension or stress from the day pouring out through the crown of my head. Maybe you take that vision now, come to stillness for these next few breaths, and just imagine anything that's not really serving you and restful sleep for you, just pouring out, releasing it. One more breath in. Exhale, lower the knees down, and we're back in tabletop pose. And for this next series of postures, you may like to have something underneath your knees. So if it's not there already, go ahead and grab something to pad the knees. We're going to practice some low lunges. So bring your blocks underneath your hands now, something to raise the earth up closer to you. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. You might just tint up your fingers, or maybe you can bring your hands down to the mat. We're going to start on the left side. The left foot steps forward between the hands, and you let your hips sink forward and down. As you do that, notice if the knee is staying over the ankle. If it's tracking forward, that's great. If it's not, you might pick up the back knee and walk that back knee back a little bit so that the knee can stay over the ankle. From here, think a little bit about cow pose. Pull your heart forward. Lift out through the crown of your head. Feel that big hip stretch. On your next inhale, reach your left hand into the air. Easy twist. Look towards your left thumb maybe. One more breath in. Exhale. Left hand comes back down to the block or to the mat. And then you're going to bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot and walk the left foot out a little bit so that the toes point outward and the heel is pointing inward a little bit. Lizard. It's also a low lunge, but we're getting a little bit more into the inner thighs. Lift up through your heart. From here, we're stepping up to Malasana, a yogi squat. You're going to tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, step up the right foot to the outside of the right hand, and then you can place your two blocks together if you're using them, and sit your hips down onto those blocks so that you're not having to do too much work in the pelvis and the muscles around the hips. You can bring your elbows to the insides of your knees if that's comfortable to you. Hands together at heart center. Think about lengthening out through the crown of your head and letting the hips be heavy on the blocks, or if you're not using blocks, letting the hips be heavy and getting that big stretch. You also have the option of just leaving this out if it doesn't feel good in your body, taking a forward fold instead. One more breath in. Exhale. Bring your hands down to the mat, maybe the fingertips. Press into your feet. Lift your hips up a little bit, bring the blocks back underneath your hands, and then we'll go to the other side. Step the left foot back, lower the left knee down, starting in lizard. Let the hips be heavy. Feel that little stretch through the inner right thigh. Lengthen your heart forward and up. A couple more breaths right here. And then pick your right block up with your right hand, walk your right foot in line with your right hip, and frame the right foot with the blocks or the hands. Low lunge. On your next inhale, reach your right hand into the air. Easy twist. Maybe you look towards your right thumb. Keep breathing. One more breath in. Exhale, right hand comes down to the right block. Taking a couple more breaths in our low lunge. And from here, start to shift your hips back, slide the right foot back, widen your knees a comfortable distance apart from one another, big toes touch, send your hips back towards your heels, and if you have the hands on blocks, you can keep them there and lower the forehead down to the mat, or you can move the blocks off to the side, bring the hands down to the mat, and again, forehead towards the mat. A few breaths here. On your next inhale, lift your head, look towards your hands. Exhale, press into the top of your mat to shift forward back to table. And from here, shift over to one hip. And we're going to set up for a supported fish pose. So if you have a bolster or if you have some cushions or pillows, you can use them underneath the back body. It's going to support you from the lower back all the way up to the back of your head to create a supported back bend. If you have blocks, you can use them how I'm going to use them, placing one block on its medium setting the wide ways of the mat. This will go underneath your shoulder blades and your ribs a little bit. And then another block also on its medium setting, but for some people it might feel better to do the highest setting underneath where the head is going to go. So get your props set up, either some cushions that raise up from about where your lower back would go to the head, and then also you have the option for the blocks. Turn yourself around. If you are using something underneath your knees on your mat, you can move it away for now. And I like to get started by having my knees bent, soles of the feet onto the mat, and then recline back over whatever props I'm using. So today it's the blocks, and make sure that my head is supported the way I want it to be. And then let my arms rest out beside me. Maybe you feel better with the arms resting next to you. And then from here, your feet can stay on the mat, or you can extend your legs long. I love doing supported heart openers at nighttime because during the day I do spend a lot of time either on my phone or at a desk, And also driving, a lot of things in our modern lifestyle ask us to be kind of hunched forward. And this is a great opportunity to open up the space in the front of the body and to give some relief to the back body that supports us all day long. And this is our last pose tonight before we take Shavasana, so just notice if you could let go of a little bit more tension now. Maybe if there was something that you were still holding on to from your day at the beginning of practice, maybe that's ready to be let go of. And again, if it's not, that's okay. Honor where you're at. And tonight I'll give you the option to stay right here, or if you feel like you want to lay down flat on your back, you can start to bend your knees in, soles of the feet to the mat, roll off of your pillows or your blocks, whatever props you're using, to one side, and then just reach behind you and move them out of the way so that you can lay back down onto a flat back if that's the option you're taking. Again, if you are in that supported back bend and it's really comfortable for you right now, feel free to stay there. And so no matter where you chose to take your Shavasana, feel everything in your body soften and let go. Give yourself the gift of a few moments of stillness and silence, letting the mind quiet down. And the next time you hear my voice, we will transition out. Until then, enjoy your rest. Remaining just as you are, bring your awareness back to your breath. And like all of our evening practices, I'll give you the option of whether you stay here a little bit longer or you start to make your way out of Shavasana. Whichever you choose, I will leave you here to make that choice. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you have a great night of deep, peaceful rest, and I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.